welcome in. Are you my 3 o'clock? Oh, perfect. Nice to meet you. I'm Kat. I will be helping you today with your personal shopping experience. First off, thank you so much for booking with us. I will be so glad to help you picking out a few new winter pieces. And if there's anything that you like today, we can go ahead and get it settled for you. And anything that you don't like, we'll just put it to the side. And I want to let you know as well that I did review your questionnaire. Let me pull it up really quickly, just so we can take some notes while we're going through, and so that we can review any of your preferences and make some updates if needed. Yeah, here we go. Okay. But if anything is not quite right, not to your liking, if I don't quite have your style as you're hoping, do just let me know and we'll start from scratch, and that's okay too. We just want to make sure that you're finding the pieces that really suit your interests, your personality, and it sounds like you've shopped with us before and like some of our pieces already. Okay. Yes. Perfect. It's great when we have return shoppers already, because then we have a better idea of, you liking some of the things in our store already. So that's perfect. Well, do you have any questions before we get started? Yeah, everything can be pulled in multiple sizes. We can do some try-ons at the end so that you can feel out if you're really liking something on you. And then we'll get it ordered in a different size if it's not in stock, okay? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's go ahead then and enjoy some fun personal shopping. So, like I said, I reviewed your questionnaire, got it pulled up here, and I know that you wanted some really classic pieces, kind of monochromatic, white and black, maybe a little pop of color. Yeah. Okay, well, perfect. You can see, of course, a lot of what I've pulled is that we have lots of different fabrics that we'll go through and different textiles. And some of these items are more casual, some maybe less. But I think what's going to be really great about these, because you're looking for things that are more timeless and wintry, but maybe that could be worn around the year. These pieces will really cater to that. Some, like I said, will be a little bit more winter specific, but a lot you can mix and match in a little bit of a capsule wardrobe. And we can build some different outfits, especially too with some things that you already have in your closet, so you don't have to be building a whole new wardrobe. Yeah, right, like any of these things really, you could throw on with a pair of jeans or a black pant, or you could dress up with a skirt or, a dress, depending what it is. And then I did pull some shoes and accessories for you. As you can see, we've got laid out here, so we'll go through them. And ideally you find some classic things to take home with you. Okay, well, why don't we start with the clothing, and then we'll move into accessories, okay? And if you want to feel anything, if you have any questions, just let me know as we're moving along, okay? Yes, everything is within the price ranges that you put down. We've got some varying brands that we carry in our store, but everything is going to be within the budget that you outlined. Per item, of course, and for everything. Perfect. Okay, so first, we have this really lovely shirt, blouse, sweater. It's a little bit of a mix in that it's this really, really light sweater material, almost like a thick long sleeve shirt. We can pull up the tag so you can see. It's largely viscose, which is going to be that really nice little bit of stretchy fabric. So it has that bit of give, and it has this really, really sweet bows with the cream and the black, and these little buttons one by one down the blouse. And I think it's lovely because it's really simple and chic, but also a little bit of a statement with these bows, and it really speaks to one's personal style, right? Kind of says a little bit about who you are through your clothing and what you like to wear, right? Yes, I know that you mentioned in your questionnaire that you like a bow, so I have a lot of those for us today. Not too many, just enough. So this is going to fall really nicely off the shoulder, and the sleeve should hit just above the wrist, just like mine. Yeah. What are you thinking about this one? You want to feel? Yeah. Okay. Well, we're off to a strong start then. I know, isn't it so soft? Okay, so next, I've got just this simple black tee, but it's a really nice fabric. You can tell it's nice and light. It still has that little bit of stretch so that it's nice and comfy. And it's got this lovely floral pattern on it. Do you see? Right. Yeah, it's kind of swirling throughout. You know, I was just thinking, while this looks like a flower, you could also go really Halloween and make it look like a cobweb in a way. Maybe if you wore some orange. But a black tee is so perfect just for any time of year, any occasion, right? This could go really casual with just a casual pant or a short, or you could really dress it up. I pulled this skirt, for example. You can see this is lovely. It's a nice lace with lots of detail. We've got the white to black. Yes, and so this is going to fall just above the knee. And it's got a lining so that it's not sheer. Of course, you know, you'll want to wear a skin-colored undergarment. You know, a bright pink might show through. But as long as you do that, you're good to go. And it's nice and flowy. But in the winter, you could add a black tight, a black stocking, whether just pure black or a netted one or a lace tight. And you could pair it with a pair of black boots or even a flat like the ones we'll look at. But I thought how nice these together. You know, you could either leave it out in front, perhaps if you like something more, you know, hanging lower for your skirt. Or we could have it sit at waist level And we could tuck this in, and that's a really lovely outfit, maybe for work or to go out to dinner. Lots of options. Yeah. And so, with that, I want to share too the little detailing here on the sleeve. I don't want us to miss that before we move on, because it is such a nice little detail to have this little, not quite scalloped, but just the tiniest little bit of a curve, almost a ruffle, almost a scallop, but just not quite, right? And so it's really lovely. And I know it looks a little bit shapeless off, of course, but I think you'll find when you try it on, it sits really nicely on the body, and it kind of goes with your curves rather than just being like a big black bag. So, yeah, you want to feel this one? Here we go. I really like this fabric. It's so light, really, really comfortable. So then, of course, perhaps on top of this, if you wished, or on its own as a shirt, or on top of anything else, of course, I wanted to pull for you this really lovely sweater, because you know, in the winter, it's just such a nice opportunity to pull out our really lovely, beautiful sweaters to go with a bit more of a jeweled, bedazzly situation. Gives kind of winter wonderland. Has a little bit of a bow detail for you, but not too much. Very subtle, very classy, elegant, but still kind of fun and youthful, right? And this one you've got to touch. It is so soft. It's unbelievable, honestly. Yes. So yeah, it's got our little details. These beautiful pearl type buttons. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buttons down the front. And it's got these little faux pockets. So they're just a detail here. They're not actually a pocket. That way it's not going to add bulk on you, right? No one really wants to have like those big pockets just hanging, right? Because they wouldn't be very useful anyway. However, I will say, if you are a pocket lover, this skirt that we looked at does, in fact, have pockets. Just right here. And they're actually quite sizable. So, you could fit a key, you could fit a lip gloss, a credit card. I don't think you'll fit a phone, but putting a phone in this pocket would also really drag it down and kind of take away from your look, I think. Isn't that fun? The pockets, right? Oh, I'm glad I shared with you then. You like a pocket. Well, good to know. Maybe ups the interest level on this skirt a bit. I think you're not interested just in pants, right? You like a skirt, a bit of a dress. Okay, awesome. Yeah, we've got variety, in fact, to go with all of these bits. I did pull just a lovely black legging. And what's really nice about these, you can see, they just look simple black. What's really lovely about this pant is it's got this nice line detail all the way down, and it's a nice thick material, still very, very stretchy, but it's thicker than an athletic legging, so it really comes across as a pant. if you're wanting to be really cozy and comfortable at work or out shopping, doing errands, but you kind of want to look like you're in real clothing, this is really the way to go. And they're cool enough to wear in the summer if you're wearing pants, if it's not too hot. But they're definitely thick enough for the winter. Not so thick, they're not fleece lined, so they're certainly transitional across seasons, I think. And they're going to fall ankle length. They're just a teensy bit cropped in that they're really kind of that ankle hit. They don't bunch at the bottom and have too much extra length. Yeah. Okay. Well, let us continue. Okay. My final shirt that I have for you is this really lovely kind of long sleeve sweater vest type of shirt. So we have these crisp linen poofy sleeves and a bit of poof with that same fabric, a bit of a peplum shape coming off of the bottom. And we've got this really lovely cable knit sweater as our focal point. And these really started to come into trend, I would say last winter, but they are still around and they are just so cute. And this is actually a perfect way to have this look where it poofs out a bit underneath, rather than, sometimes you've got a sweater vest that goes over a regular shirt and it just kind of drops, right? This gives that really nice curvature and that nice shape without adding too much bulk, because it's actually not a shirt underneath. You see, it's the sweater and then this is just sewn onto it, right? And so the sleeve is also just sewn onto it. So this is so perfectly light and breathable that it's nice and cozy and warm, but you're also going to get a little bit of air through here if you want to wear it more in the spring, and then, maybe your weather is shifting. And of course, if it's really a chilly day, you may wear a coat, of course, but if you're wanting a little bit of extra coverage underneath, you can just wear an undershirt and then you won't have too much air coming in through the sweater. So, you want to go ahead and have a feel? Yeah. I like this one too. Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, and then last, I know you didn't want too much, but I wanted to just pull one dress for you. And it's this really, really pretty shift dress with green and black. And it's got this nice chiffon sleeve with, again, that little bit of a curve. Really classic neckline. It just frames your collarbone and has a lovely sleeve. And it's going to be long enough that it hits just above the knee. So it's not too short where you couldn't wear it to work. It's not too long where it becomes a gown. Really light and breezy. And I think it just shines in the most beautiful wintry way. It also, I believe, has pockets. It sure does. Here they are. And this is great too to pair with a pair of tights when it's cooler and some black boots. or to wear without in warmer weather. And then on the back, it's got a little bit of a bow detail as well. Our closure in the back, you just tie up as a pretty bow. You can see. Yeah, isn't that nice? Now think about the dress. Fair enough. I know you're not as much looking for dresses right now. Maybe more the skirt. Okay. Well, why don't we take a look through now our accessories? So, first, we've got some purses. And I think really any of these could mix and match with any of these outfits, right? You see, I've got some white and beaded. We've got black. I'll go through these in more detail. Even this one. Doesn't that look fun as just a pop of color with a lot of these different bits? Right. Well, why don't we start with this one then? So, this is a very sweet little purse, beaded. It's got colors of a really lovely coral orange, which I think somehow works in the winter, but then definitely works in the fall as well, right? And our gold chain, you can see it's nice and long. And then for another very small option, we have this sweet vintage style velvet purse. So it's black, it's very small, it's not going to hold too much, so you'll want to be aware of that. But for a nighttime occasion, looks really nice with our outfits, right? Yeah. It's a little small for you. I understand. Maybe we'll skip that one then. Let me make a note for you, in fact, that do you feel a small purse, if it maybe doesn't fit your phone? Yeah. And you know, that makes perfect sense, because as much as you might like the look of something, you really have to want to use it and find it practical as well, of course. Well, I will just note that then for any future sessions, okay? Totally. Okay, well then moving up in size, I have another that has a long chain for you. Very classic. This is a really nice patent leather purse with a beautiful little detailing on it. Kind of looks like a bit for a horse in a way, but in a really cute, fashionable kind of way. So, this has plenty of room inside of it. It is a great way to make a casual outfit look a lot dressier. You know, it's going to dress up a pair of jeans for dinner. And it also makes for a really classic looking bag. This shiny patent. Really a nice kind of vintage style, while also looking very contemporary, right? Smooth and sleek. I'm liking this one. Okay, great. Okay, well, let me just put this back for us. Okay, And then moving on again to something a little bit more dressy even. This is a beautiful black velvet purse. And this is so timeless and classic. A little bit vintage inspired, and then it's got this fun little tuft. Isn't that fun? And it opens just like this, so that it actually has so much space inside of it, right? You can fit a lot in here. Really, really classic. And this, again, you could wear just casually. You could wear with any of these outfits. You could also certainly dress this up for a formal event, right? So if you have anywhere to go, that is like a wedding or a gala of some kind, this would be a very appropriate choice. And because it's black, you know, you've really got a lot of options for this. You know, most colors that you're wearing are going to match well with this, right? Yeah. Okay, you're a fan of this one. I see this being used in so many situations. Perfect. Okay, and then for something really still quite classic, I think, in color and in texture with the beading, we're going to move on to something, though, a little bit more trendy. And so this has really been quite a trend lately, this style of bag with this shoulder length strap, you can see. And it was really, I feel, made popular by those sardine bags, right? And then everybody's got to get their hands on one. But this is great because we're taking that trend and going with a really classic, beautiful pearlescent beaded color and florals, right? And so this is going to look lovely. Again, could be on the more formal side with maybe a cocktail dress or a formal dress, as well as with our outfits here. They look really cute, right? With just an easy jean or a black pair of pants, and you've got this lovely, sleek white and black outfit with a little hint of a trend, but enough classic timeless pieces that it doesn't look like you're trying to just be part of a trend, right? And what's wrong with that? Nothing. But if you're wanting to be a bit more timeless and not have to, feel you have to be done with your pieces at a certain point, what a great way to meld the two. A trendy style and shape with a really classic color scheme. And something that's fun too about this bag, actually, is that if you'd like it to be a little bit more classic and less of a trend, you can put that strap away and it will exist purely as a clutch. So that's something I think is pretty neat, that it's wearable in multiple ways and serves multiple styles. Yeah. You like this one? Okay. I'm so glad. Glad we pulled a nice piece for you. With all these really nice floral details. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay. Well, let us move on then. Now, would you say that you're looking for jewelry right now? I pulled a few things, some necklaces. We've got some bracelets, some earrings. You'll take a look. Okay. Also, these here, I have a little set paired together because I think they just look lovely together. But of course, you could buy or wear separately. One of them is just a simple gold chain necklace with really delicate links. And the other has pearls and beading. And they actually result in more of a mixed metal look. One is 14 karat gold, and the other is sterling silver. So it's kind of a neat juxtaposition if you're interested in mixing metals. Like this sort of design. Really classic, right? Yeah. And that layering of these really delicate necklaces has really been in style for some time, and I don't think will be going away because it's just so classically beautiful, right? Now, and then similarly, but different, I have this piece in a little container. This is a really bold, polished sterling silver look with a pearl hanging off. And it also has those similar links, but you can see they are much bigger on this necklace, right? And we'll just go along your collarbone as well. Really classic style. Not so much for silver jewelry. Sure, everyone's different, right? And sometimes the mixed metals work, but just one of something you might prefer, either gold or silver. Absolutely. Well, if you like gold, then why don't I show you some of our bangles in gold and rose gold and in brass. So this is a mixed set that we've just put together for you with several different types. But of course you could choose to wear, for example, just this simple classic gold bangle, or maybe just our more beaded bangles. Or I think they look really great put together as a set. Who doesn't want to just jingle a little bit in life, right? Makes things a bit more fun. Let me ask you too, are you needing a watch at all? I know, it's a little silly because nobody really tells time with their watch anymore. We've got our phone. But I think that a watch can be a really nice statement jewelry piece. Just, classic, kind of, you look fancy and professional when you wear a watch, right? Like, really kind of bougie. Not sure you need one right now. That's fair. I'll just put it away for us. Okay, well, last, let's go through some shoes. So, I've got some black, some colorful ones, and they're all flats as you requested. I think they really transition between more casual and more fancy, so they can really all be everything. This first pair is a Mary Jane styled shoe that's following kind of that trend of being kind of squared off and looking a bit more like a point shoe, right? So it's got that nice leather interior, faux, and that nice velvet soft outside, and our nostalgic Mary Jane strap, right? And so you could wear this with jeans, with a dress, with or without tights for the winter, of course. Yeah. You liking these? Okay. Well, similar but a little bit different, I've got for you. Also squared off, also velvet, got this really nice kind of ribbed detail. Has a lot of visual and textural interest. Has these sweet bows which add a bit of fun flair. But it is a sling back. How do you feel about an open back? Yeah. They do actually stay on pretty well, but it's a personal preference, of course. Not so sure about these. That's fair. Well, we have next a gold flat for you. A nice smooth kind of leather look, also faux. And a nice gold color, which really I find as well looks good with everything, right? Blue, white, black, lots of colors, right? And this pointed toe is a really elegant style. It really elongates your leg and your foot, but in a nice way. And it kind of departs from that previous earlier 2000s trend of a rounded ballet flat, and instead leans into this really timeless, elegant look. Yeah, you could wear these again with a jean, but if you were also wearing something more formal like a cocktail or party dress, this would look very appropriate. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then perhaps a bit more casual and cutesy are our pop of color red with this nice squishy supportive interior. And a suede style outside. All of these are faux though, so they're using vegan materials. Yeah, keeps the price down for you too, but they're really wearable and are still gonna last. This one we have this sweet bow detail, and whether it's red or a different color, a pop of color on your classic capsule style wardrobe is going to add a lot of personality, and we can really add to our looks by adding a fun colored shoe or like these fun colored purses, right? Yeah, it really adds so much to your look. And then similarly, we've got a pink, a bit more neutral pop of color, but a pop nonetheless. And these are really cool actually in that they're more of a rubberized silicone style shoe. So they're actually very weather resistant. If you find you'd like to be fashionable and express yourself, even when it's raining outside or a bit muddy, you can rest assured that you can have your look without ruining your shoes. And they can be worn extended periods of time without blisters. Got this really cute buckle detail. Right, isn't that fun? Take a look. I know. I love these. You want to try them on? Okay. Well, speaking of try-ons, let me go ahead and note down anything that you're very much interested in, very much not interested in, or maybe that you'd like a little shift, like rather than red, perhaps you want a different color flat. Okay. Sounds good. These purses, yes, I know you definitely want those. I will get those wrapped up for you. And the simple necklaces, yes. These are really lovely. I will get these boxed up for you. What a great choice. They're gonna look good with everything. Sure, those will try on, get a sense of fit. And anything that needs some alterations, a little tuck here, a hem here, we can do for you complimentary in-house. Of course, we like to be very personalized here. Okay, well, I think that sounds perfect. I will go ahead and get some things wrapped up for you and rung up at our register for you. And for now, we can go ahead and try some things on. I'll get you set up with all of your items in the fitting room, and I'll meet you over there, and we can discuss any changes that you'd like to make and how things are feeling, okay? Perfect, okay. Well, it has just been such a pleasure pulling these items for you, and I'm so glad that already a few have been working out. Oh, well, you are welcome. I will go ahead and meet you over at the fitting room. Feel free to just have your way over there at your convenience, okay? Wonderful. I'll see you in a moment.